tends the garden every morning early, before the neighborhood has found its sound. She moves between the roses and the lavender, like she is looking for someone in the ground. Not morbid, but the opposite of morbid, the way the living keep the company of love, by tending what the loved one also tended, by placing hands in the soil that they once dug. She planted it the spring of their first marriage, when the yard was nothing but the grass and stone, and he would come out Saturdays in summer and move around it like it was his own. Which it was, which everything between them was, the shared and undivided and the grown, into the particular life that two lives make, when two lives choose to make the one home. And the garden grew through 40 years of seasons, through the children and the grandchildren in the grave, until the winter that he didn't come back from. And she's been tending it alone since February. The widow's garden is the fullest kind of love I've ever seen. The widow's garden, still growing everything he loved in green. The roses that he always called ridiculous, the tomatoes that he ate before their ripe. The widow's garden is the love that won't say goodnight, won't stop, won't leave. The widow's garden is how the living grieve, with their hands in the soil, with the love in the ground. The widow's garden is where he still is found. I bring her groceries on the Wednesday morning, and she always waves me through to where she's kneeling. And we talk across the garden rows about the ordinary, the weather and the neighbors and the ceiling of the church that needs the repairing, and the council that approve the road works down the lane. And she talks like a woman who has plenty left of living, like the grief is carried but the life remains, which it does, which it always does for those who tend things, who keep the hands in the practical and real. The garden is her therapy and her theology, the place where she goes to tend and feel. I asked her once if the garden made it harder, being in the space they built together still. She stopped and looked at me with something gentle, then said it was the only thing that filled the space the way she needed it filled, that the absence was the absence everywhere. But in the garden with the hands in the growing, the absence and the presence met in the air, and she could be with him and be without him, both at once between the lavender and rose. The widow's garden is the both at once of loving, the fullest kind of love the living knows. Widow's garden, I will think of it until my final day. The widow's garden is everything the poets try to say about the love that lives past the leaving, about the tending of the permanent and true. Widow's garden is me when I have lost you, down on my knees, hands in the ground. The widow's garden is where you'll still be found. Still growing, still tending, still loving, still here. He stands before the congregation Sunday with the certainty they came to hear him speak. But in the parsonage on Tuesday and the Thursday, he kneels beside the bed and cannot see the words the way they come on Sunday morning. The faith feels like a borrowed coat by night, and the preacher in the darkness is the doubter who stands in certainty inside the light. Came to the calling in his early 20s, when the faith was like a river in the fall, when the answers came before the questions finished, when the word had an immediating pull, and the years have been the gradual complicating of the simple and the certain and the clear. Not the losing, but the deepening of the question. The faith that grew more honest year by year. He doesn't preach the certainty of the simple. He preaches what the living has made true. And the congregation hears the faith of the battle, and they recognize the doubt inside it too. The preacher's doubt is the finest kind of faith I've ever known. The preacher's doubt is the faith that makes it all the way home. Not the easy and the handed and the certain, but the fought for and the questioned and the kept. The preacher's doubt is the faith that hasn't slept through the easy and the comfortable. The preacher's doubt is the most faithful of all. He buried 30 members of the parish, stood at 30 gravesides in the rain, and each one asked the question all the louder, and each one brought him back to faith again. Not by the resolution of the question, but by the presence of the people in the grief, who needed something past the philosophical, who needed him to be the holding leaf in the storm of the incomprehensible. And his presence was the sermon every time. The preacher standing in the rain beside them was a better sermon than his best in rhyme. I want the preacher's faith, not the performer's, the one that's been to the bottom and come back, the one that doubted everything one Tuesday and was back at the pulpit Sunday on the track. Not because the doubt was resolved entirely, but because the people needed the Sunday voice. And showing up through doubt is the whole sermon. The doubt and the showing up, that is the choice. That is the faith. The preacher's doubt made him the finest shepherd that I knew. The preacher's doubt made every Sunday morning ring more true, because we knew he'd been to the dark Tuesday and walked back in the Sunday on his own. The preacher's doubt is the faith that brings us home, brings us home, brings us home. The doubting and the Sunday brings us home. I caught a glimpse of my hands in the mirror in the early morning half-light of the sink, and they look like someone else's hands completely, until I took the second look and think. The knuckles have the same particular thickness, the palms have got the same wide field and long. The way they hold the cup and hold the hammer, the way they carry everything along. Is his the fingerprint of the generation, the body passing what the body knows, from father down to son without the asking, the way the inherited river flows. I see him in the morning at the mirror, in the hands that are becoming his with time, and the grief of the gone and the gift of the inherited are both contained in what I see of mine. Hands like my father's, growing more like his with every year. Hands like my father's, the finest thing the mirror shows me here. Not the loss but the continuing, not the grief but the giving and the past. Hands like my father's, the best inheritance to last. These hands, his hands, the same work in the same white palm. Hands like my father's carry me calm. He used those hands for 40 years of building cabinets and porches and the barn, and for holding every child when they were frightened, and for mending what was broken on the farm, and for folding at the table before dinner, and for waving from the driveway when we left, and for lying still at last in the December, when the leaving took his warmth and left the rest of us with our own hands and our own mornings, at the mirror in the half-light of the sink, looking at the Father in the Son's hands, grateful for the longer than we think. My son came in while I was at the mirror, and he stood beside me looking at the glass, and he said, "Dad, your hands look like your father's." And I said, "Son, I hope the same will pass to you and to your children in the morning, when they catch themselves beside the mirror's frame, because the hands of all the fathers in the looking are the finest kind of the remembered name." Hands like my father's, and God willing he'll see his in mine. Hands like my father's, passed from son to son across the time, the body's own memorial and the keeping of the ones who held us when we were the small. Hands like my father's is a fine Doctor said take it easy with the lifting. Said the heart had shown us something on the scan. Said come back in a month for the repeating. And I drove home the long way like a man who needed the familiar before the uncertain, who needed the fields before the verdicts wait. I drove the county road in the October, and I counted what was left of what was great. The standing corn and the smell of the turning season, the particular gold of the late afternoon. And I thought, if this is the last October driving, it is the finest one I've seen come through. One more harvest, Lord, if you're inclined to give the grace. One more harvest, let me see the golden in its place. One more morning in the cold before the sunrise, with the coffee and the quiet and the known. One more harvest, let me bring the season home. One more, just one more harvest. One more, then I'll go when you call me to the shore. I've been given more harvest than the counting, more autumns than a man deserves to see, more mornings of the frost and the rewarding of the planted thing becoming what it be. And I have not been grateful as the deserving have rushed the harvest and the season both. Have been too busy in the doing to the seeing of the gift inside the grain and the growth. But this October, with the doctor's words behind me, I see every stalk like it's the last and first, and the ordinary harvest is the holiest when you see it through the lens of the worst. My wife came out and stood beside me quietly. She knows me well enough to read the drive. She said, I made your supper and it's waiting. And she took my hand the way she does to revive. The thing in me that disconnects from living, when the worry has me somewhere else inside, and the hand is always how she calls me back. Her particular hand has always been my guide. Back to the harvest, back to the ordinary, back have a box beneath the bed or cedar, full of letters that I wrote and never sent. The unsent letters of a man who couldn't manage to say the things he meant the way he meant. There are letters to my father about the gratitude that felt too large and awkward for the said. There are letters to the woman before the current, apologizing for the way I left instead. There is a letter to my younger self entirely, 12 pages of the things I should have known. And there are letters to my children not yet written, for the days when I am gone and they are grown. Letters never sent, the fullest version of the things I feel. Letters never sent are sometimes more complete than what is real. The performed and the delivered and the actual, because the sent requires a suitable intent. But the letters never sent hold everything before the frame, the unedited and the whole in the confession. Letters never sent hold my truer name. The letter to my father is the longest, 40 years of the unsaid in the hand, starting with the times I didn't thank him, and ending with I finally understand what the quiet cost him and the steady, what the showing up without the credit cost the man, what the 40 years of the unacknowledged building cost a father in the long of the lifespan. I wrote it in December that he left us, and I read it at the graveside for myself, because the sending wasn't possible at that point, but the writing took it off the internal shell. There is a school of thought that says the unsent letter is the therapy that doesn't need the send, that the writing of the thing is the arrival, that the saying to yourself can be the mend. And I believe it, I have lived it in the cedar box. The unsent letters did the work regardless, and the father that I never sent the letter to received it somehow through the hardest, most honest writing I have ever done. The letter never sent still reached the one. Letters never sent, I'll write them till the final day arrives. Letters never sent are how the inarticulate survives. The particular there's always a last town before the mountains, where the road flattens out before the climb, with the diner and the gas station and the steeple, and the sense that you are crossing into time. That is different from the time behind you, mountain time, the old and unhurried kind. And the last town is the last of the familiar, before the altitude begins to thin the mind and clear it of the accumulated ordinary, the particular cleaning of the hide that comes to those who enter into mountains. The last town is the last of the wild. The last town before the mountains is where I always stop and have the coffee black. The last town before the mountains is where I look at everything I'm leaving back. The city and the calendar and the rushing version of myself that runs on low. The last town before the mountains is where I let the other self go. Let him go. Let him go. Flatlander, the last town before the mountains, makes me what I am. I have driven to the mountains in the trouble, when the life below had gotten past the hell, when I needed the perspective of the altitude to see the proportion of the overwhelm. And the mountains always gave it without comment, just the scale of the incomprehensible and old, that makes the human troubles recognizable as human-sized and manageable and told in the right dimension, not the catastrophe, but the ordinary difficulty of the small. And I drive back down through the last town restored to the proportion of it all. You know a mountain, keep the knowing. Keep the road that leads you to the high. Keep the last town and the diner and the coffee. Keep the ritual of the altitude and why. Because the world below will always press the urgent, will always have the weight of the immediate. And the mountain is the oldest kind of answer to the particular and the claustrophobic heat of the too much and the too close and the crowded. Go to the mountain, go to the last town first. The last town before the mountains is the march together. The last town before the mountains, I will stop there every time I have the road. The last town before the mountains is where I put down the unnecessary load and drive into the altitude of the knowing that the world is old and large and I am small. The last town before the mountains is the finest stop of all. Coffee black, window down, the last town before the mountains, then the climb. The old dog knew when the weather was about to shift, would move from the porch to the underneath, would curl in the particular way of the serpent. Hours before the storm would break beneath, the visible and the forecast and the knowing of the body that reads what the instrument can't find. The old dog had the old intelligence of sensing the particular animal and refined awareness of the world beyond the measure that the modern and the digital have lost. The knowing that the body used to carry before we learned to count instead of trust. What the old dog knew was more than any weather app could say. What the old dog knew was in the body and the unhurried way of the creature who is still inside the natural, who hasn't learned to override the sense. What the old dog knew was the original intelligence. Trust the body, trust the knowing. What the old dog knew is still worth showing. He knew when grief had come into the household, would lay his head across the grieving knee, without the invitation or the asking, just the knowing of the what is needed see. And he knew when joy was in the coming, would wait at the end of the driveway in the hour before the car appeared around the corner. The anticipation of the certain power of the love returning to the home. And he knew before I told him anything. The old dog knew the grammar of the living without the word for any single thing. put him down in April, gentle Tuesday, with the family all around him on the floor. And he looked at every face with the same knowing, the calm acceptance of the knowing sure. And I thought in that moment of the leaving that the old dog knew this too without the fear. The old dog knew the death the way he knew the weather, with the body and the certain and the clear. And his going was the finest kind of going, the unhurried and the known and the complete. What the old dog knew, I am still learning all these years ahead. What the old dog knew about the living and the going to the dead, about the present and the sensing and the trusting, about the love that needs no word to be the real. What the old dog knew is everything I'm trying to feel. Old dog, old friend, what you knew was everything. What the old dog knew. The long winter came, the year of many troubles, when the cold arrived in October and stayed, when the pipes froze and the firewood ran shorter than the calculation anybody made. And the family gathered in the warm, warm room, the way the old ones did before the modern, before the separate wings and the central heating, before the house got big enough to lose them, and the long winter pressed the family closer into the same small radius of warmth. And the closeness was the gift inside the trouble, the unexpected grace of the forced north. The long winter taught us what the comfort had been hiding. The long winter put us in the room without the dividing of the screens and the separate and the distance that the ordinary comfortable allows. The long winter put us all inside the now, together, together. The long winter together. every generation needs the long winter for the soul's account, needs the pressing of the difficult upon them to know what they are built of and the amount of the real that lives beneath the comfortable, of the character that waits beneath these. And the long winter is the revelation of what a family is when stripped to these. Four walls and the fire and the heaven only each other, the technology and the individual gone, and what remains is either the actual family or the truth of what you've really built upon. We came out of the long winter the closer, not because it wasn't hard, but because it was. Because the heart together is the bonding, the particular cement of the because we had to became the because we wanted to remember. We still gather in the one room in the cold, not for the necessity, but for the choosing of the long winter warmth and the getting old together. The long winter, I would not trade it for the comfortable year. The long winter gave me everyone I hold most dear. In the press together and the fire sharing, in the storytelling through the frozen night. The long winter was the most warm and the most light I have ever known. Long winter, long winter, long winter brought us home. I left the valley when I was young and certain. I left the valley for the wide and the far. I thought the valley was the small and the limiting. I thought the leaving was the measure of the star. I thought the man who stays is the man who settles. Thought the road was where the living was complete, and I have walked the road in every direction, and I have come back to the valley and the feet of the mountain that I always undervalued, to the creek that I always took for given. And the valley stood here knowing what it always knew, and welcomed back the one it had been missing. question of the far. The valley always knew what I was before the leaving, and still are. Come back, come back. The valley always knew. Come back, come back. The valley always knew it was waiting, just like it always knew it would be. I knelt beside the creek on the October morning, the same creek that I'd waded as a boy, and the water had the same particular coldness, the same particular and specific joy of the thing that doesn't change while you are changing, the thing that holds the original in trust, for the one who left and needed the returning, for the prodigal who comes back to the just, and familiar and the rooted and the here, and the creek ran over my hands like a forgiveness that required no application and no fear, just the returning and the receiving, just the kneeling in the water of the known. I think of every road that I have traveled, every song that brought me to this creek, every hard year and every long winter, everything the wandering helped me see. The cartographer who learned to love the unmapped, the preacher's doubt that found the deepest faith, the brother at the door with the light on, the widow's garden full of love and grace, the father's hands, the grandfather's oak tree, the slow river and the fields I never farmed, the last song before leaving and the ember, all of it has brought me to this yard, this valley, this creek, this morning, this particular and irreplaceable home. The valley always knew I would be coming. The valley always knew I wasn't gone. Not really, not all the way. The valley held my name while I was away. The valley always knew before I knew it for myself. The valley 20 songs ago I sat down at the window with the guitar and the morning and the page. 20 songs ago I was looking for the language for the living of a man at this particular age. And the songs came one by one in the ordering of the things a life accumulates and holds. The road and the creek and the brother and the harvest, the ember and the father and the old, dog and the slow river and the preacher, the widow's garden and the letters in the box. And 20 songs later I am sitting at the window with the morning and the page in the unlocked. 20 songs ago I didn't know what I was trying to say. 20 songs ago I just knew the saying was the way. Through whatever the accumulated needed, through whatever the untended needed tending, 20 songs ago began the beautiful unending of the song that is the life and is the living. 20 songs ago, I'm grateful for the giving. I have written about the things I know completely, the road and the soil and the family and the gone. And the writing was the living of it over, the particular grace of the carried on. In the language of the song, which is the oldest, the first language of the human and the real, before the document and the diagram and the measure, there was the song that let the people feel. The common and the shared and the communal, this is mine and also yours of the art. And 20 songs is 20 small deliveries of the common country of the human heart. But thank you for the road that raised me onward. Thank you for the valley and the creek. Thank you for the brother and the widow. Thank you for the harvest and the wheat. Winter that became the warmest memory. Thank you for the letters in the cedar. Thank you for the old dog's ancient knowing. Thank you for the mountain and the leader of the cartographer who learned to love the unmapped. Thank you for the preacher and the doubt. Thank you for the slow river's patient teaching. Thank you for the 20 songs throughout this life, this ordinary, extraordinary country of the human and the grown. 20 songs is 20 ways of saying thank God for this particular home. 20 songs ago, I sat down at the window and the word. 20 songs ago, the finest prayer I ever heard was the first chord of the first uncertain morning, when I didn't know the song that I would find. 20 songs later, I have left the best of mine inside the valley and the road and the belonging, inside the ember and the ash and the at peace. 20 songs ago began the everything. 20 songs is where the singing finds its cease. For now, until the next song comes. For now, the valley knows me and the singing's done. The valley always knew